Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Finance Committee of August 10th, 2021 at 6 p.m. The first or the second item on the agenda for this evening is the approval of minutes, draft minutes of the July 27th, 2021 Finance meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
And is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the ayes have it. Motion passes. Next item, public appearance, non-agenda items. There's nobody in chambers. We have nobody on Zoom. Moving on. Item 4, Finance Director report, and we have our Finance Director, Misty Dodge, here. You would like to speak to the Treasurer's report as of June 30th, 2021, Misty?
Yeah, let's start with that. So included in the packet tonight is the report as of the end of June. One thing that I wanted to make sure I pointed out is there was a CD at Town Bank that matured that we did not renew. We're actually still working with the other bank to try to get that money reinvested at another bank. So you'll see that is a little bit different this month. The bigger thing, though, is the ARPA funding. We did receive our first tranche of that money at the end of June. That went into our LGIP account, which is where all of our state money goes into. And then in early July is when I transferred it out to the WISC or PMA account. We set that up separately so that we can track it very similar to how we do bond proceeds. So I'll be able to get reports at the end of it that says this is exactly how we spent our money and when and what that timing was. But because of the timing there, you won't see it actually going into that WISC account until the July Treasurer's report.
Okay, very good. Is there any questions from the committee? Hearing none, well, let's move on to item 4B, the arbitrage report, 2016A and 2016B, debt issuance.
Yeah, that is arbitrage. So whenever we issue debt at the 5-year mark, we have to basically certify to or do our test to make sure with the IRS that we followed all of the rules that we were required to follow. That includes spend down requirements, how much interest revenue we can make, that type of a thing. So Ellers does that analysis for us just to confirm that basically I met all of the requirements. This report makes that confirmation. So there is no payment that we have to make to the IRS because of arbitrage. And I just included that report in there so you could see it.
Okay. Since you met all the requirements, that's the reason there's no payment to IRS.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. No arbitrage is due.
Okay, very good. Any additional questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Oh, Gabriella? Go ahead.
Yeah, if you don't mind. I'm just curious, I think you might have said it, but how often do we do those reports? I just don't recall seeing one last year, but maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah, so it's at the 5-year anniversary. So the 2016 debt was issued, or it's actually 60 days after the 5-year anniversary. So the 2016 debt was issued in April, if I remember correctly, so then the 60-day mark is June. I'm not required to share with Finance Committee, so maybe I just forgot last year. Just whenever I get these formal reports, I'd like to put them on so you know that they're done. I can share the 15 one with you if you're interested, though.
No, it's okay. I just didn't recall it last year, so I was curious if it was something that happened rarely or regularly. So thanks for clarifying. Appreciate it.
No worries. And then I do have other things for my report as well, if I may.
Oh, you may. Go ahead.
So a couple meetings ago, you were asking about that 12% test with the TID. So the preliminary values did come out on August 1st. We are at 13.94%. So that means no TIDs can be created or territory added without something else closing or subtracted, at least until the next set of values come out. And then net new construction came out at that same time. So our preliminary amount is 5.35%, which is pretty fantastic, if you ask me. It's about, if I remember correctly, it's about double of what Dane County's average was and triple what the state average was. And we were the 3rd highest in Dane County, other two being quite smaller villages where it doesn't take as much value to get to a higher percentage. So definitely seeing through the numbers now that Fitchburg has grown a lot in this past year. And then that will help with levy limits based on our 2022 budget. And then my last thing is for the next meeting, I will not be here. Chad graciously agreed to cover for me, so please go easy on him. If you have questions, obviously feel free to email me ahead of time or afterwards, and I'd be happy to answer those. That is it.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Misty. Any additional questions from the committee? Go ahead, Gabriella.
Thank you. Misty, I'm curious with the TID at 13.9%, when we do close that next TID that we're planning to close, is that likely to bring us below the 12% threshold, or is it will we have to close multiple TIDs to go under the 12%?
You know what, I did not look at that, but I can run some numbers real quick if I just take that value up, and I'll let you know.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like me to move on then while you're running the numbers?
Why don't I'll email you guys out.
Okay,
That'll
very
be
good.
faster.
Well, let me back up on another question. What does that do for any TIDs that may be out there for the town of Madison if we pick it up? I mean, would you address that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a special legislation created, I believe, because of our situation. So what it says now is that when the town comes to the city, any TID that is created under the town will automatically transfer over to the city without regard to that 12% test. So we don't have to worry about that for the town TID that is coming over.
And I guess just to follow up, is the TID within the area that we are picking up for the town of Madison, or is it a split that's done if it's not within the area that we're picking up, or?
Yep, there is one TID currently open at the town,
Okay.
and that full area is coming to the city of Fitchburg. So that whole TID will come to us.
Okay, all right. Very good. Additional questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 5, review of bills. Detailed review of checks for $10,000 and above, July 16th through the 31st, 2021, totaling $1,084,416.65. Questions? Gabriella.
I'm looking at page 56 of the packet, page 1 of that report. It's the second main item on there. The ball diamond groomer. Is that something that's used for, like for the baseball fields for the recreation department? Or what is that that vehicle used for?
Yeah, that's my understanding, is it's for the baseball fields out in the system.
Got it. I just didn't recall hearing, I don't recall that from the budget discussion, so that was fun to look up.
So it'd be there's that whole laundry list of all the different equipment all under one CIP project. So it doesn't get its own CIP project, it's part of a larger group.
Got it.
Okay, any additional questions? Moving on to item 5B, detailed review of all checks issued, checks 122372 through 122435 for the period of July 16th through the 31st, 2021, totaling $1,173,650.94. Questions? Gabriella.
Okay, I'm looking at page 61 of the packet, page 4 of this report. On the bottom end of the page, there's a charge for $7,000 for executive coaching. Could you let us know what that is?
Yep, so that is a professional development, training and travel item.
Is it for a particular staff member, or is it like for the department heads in general?
It's for a particular project.
Okay.
Additional questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 5C, detailed review of all ACH payments for $10,000 and above, July 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling $473,766.85. Questions from the committee? Hearing none, we'll move on. Item 5D, detailed review of all ACH payments, July 1st through the 31st, 2021, totaling $501,741.04. Questions from the committee? Hearing none, we'll move on to 5E. Detailed review of all P-card transactions for $10,000 and above for the cycle ending July 6, 2021, totaling $97,289.69. Questions from the committee? Hearing none. 5F, review of P-card transactions for the cycle ending July 6, 2021, totaling $238,739.53. Questions from the committee? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to item 6, action items. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution R-146-21, approval of the new inclusive playground with installation at McKee Farms Park?
I move approval as recommended by the Parks Commission.
Discussion.
So if I may, so Scott Endel is here.
Yes.
You'll notice that Jim did it as recommended by Parks Commission. So Scott can give a little bit more background on what that recommendation was as well.
Okay. Go ahead, Scott.
Yep, thank you, Misty. This project was actually part of our 2018 list of CIP projects. The funding for this project was $130,000 to come out of park improvement fees, and then $150,000 that was going to be raised through public donations. What we did do is we did advertise this playground structure with installation with a budget of $80,000. We did receive 6 total proposals, and we were helped by our inclusive park committee, which basically included professionals from CI Therapeutics along with the Healthy Kids to help us narrow down the proposals to the top 2. And what they utilized to narrow it down was how the proposal worked or included amenities for social, emotional, motor sensory, and cognitive elements included in their proposal. We did do a survey with those top two selections. We were pretty lucky, and we did receive 225 responses from the public. With Lee Recreation, about 75% of those respondents picked the Lee Recreation module with 169 votes, and then the Mid-State received 56 votes. So the Park Commission is recommending the approval or the selection of Lee Recreation for this module along with installation at a not to exceed price of $80,000. Thank you.
Very good, Scott. Thank you. Misty, anything to add to that, or?
Yep, just one thing I'd like to add. So there was actually another bid that was issued at the same time for the site preparation for this site. Staff is going to recommend rejecting that bid and doing the work in-house. You'll see that as a direct referral at the next meeting. So it's parallel to this, but it needs to go to Board of Public Works.
Okay. I have one question. The funds that the donated funds, I know at sometime earlier this year we advanced that particular part of the program. Have we met that target at this point? I mean, can you speak to that, Misty?
Sure. So as Scott mentioned, 130,000 of it came from park fees.
Right.
And there was so when it was originally approved, there was supposed to be a 50-50 more or less match between the city park fees and donations. Relatively recently, there was a resolution passed by council that basically said that the city's money could go in first with the donations money coming in later. So at this point, we are only spending the city's money. As far as I understand, the donations have been successful, but I haven't gotten any of that money in the city's coffers yet. So we can't start spending it until that is actually in our hands.
We don't have I'm sorry, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, if I might just add a bit of, the fundraising is done by the Fitchburg Optimist Group, is the group is spearheading that. And as I understand, they have $70,000 secured at this point. So they're continuing to work on those fundraising efforts.
Okay, very good. Is there any other discussion? Yes, go ahead, Gabriella.
Thank you. Scott, so in terms of how we will use the donations, and I remember something about potentially designing the project so that we can add elements later. Is that part of the plan in terms of how we are going to use the donation funds?
Actually, as Misty indicated, we do have the site work that needs to be completed in preparation for the playground itself. We do have a third phase of the project, which is the poured-in-place surfacing. So there's some additional costs that are going to be associated with that. We're thinking that the dollars that we're going to have probably are going to, there might be some support amenities, some benches, some shade structures, those kinds of things. So at this point, we're really not anticipating that we're going to be adding to the existing playground, if you would. If you're familiar with the site is a bit restricted in the size, but we're thinking we're pretty confident that we're going to be able to use all of the city's dollars along with the donated dollars to build the facility, and it includes some support facilities for the playground. But to answer your question, we're really we're kind of restricted in the size of the space, so I think we're really maximizing the use of the space that we have with the proposal that is before you.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions? Hearing none, let's place the resolution to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Next item, item 7, announcements. Next meeting is August 24th, 2021. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The Finance Committee